Jatiwaringin. My number is 632412 and 48. Here I'm gonna tell you my opinion about smoking in campus area. Okay, before I'm gonna tell you my opinion, I'm gonna tell you first about the dangers from smoking. Smoking is an activity that has detrimental impact on the health of individuals, families, communities, and the environment, both directly and indirectly. So, it is necessary to control the impact of smoking on health because cigarettes contain more than 4,000 types of chemicals harmful to health, ranging from nicotine and other substances that can cause cancer and toxic substances for the body and others. Smoking may be a common thing for some people because it can make their life more vibrant, some because they want to look trendy in front of friends and people around them. While some think that if they don't smoke, their life feels something is not good, and the mouth feels as if it is tart and unpleasant. Not only adults, nowadays there are also many high school and even junior high school children who smoke freely out there. Without seeing where they are even indifferent to the people around them. But they don't know what exactly the dangers of smoking are for their own health and also the people around them. The activity of smoking can damage health, and for those who smoke or passive smokers have the risk of getting the same disease. Previously, here I will slightly explain some of the dangerous diseases caused by smoking. Some of the dangerous diseases caused by smoking include: the first is lung disease. The effect of smoking that damage the first organ of the body due to cigarette smoke is the lungs. The cigarette smoke is inhaled and enters the lungs, causing the lungs to become inflamed, bronchitis, pneumonia. Second is impotence and reproductive organ disease. The harmful effects of smoking for other health is that it can cause impotence. Cases like this have been experienced by many smokers because the content of chemicals that are toxic in nature can reduce sperm production in men. Not only that, in men there can also be cancer in the testicles. For adolescents, due to the harmful effects of smoking on adolescent health, which can cause the risk of not having offspring. As for women who smoke, the effects of cigarettes can also reduce the fertility rate of women. The third is gastric disease. The thing that looks trivial when smoking a cigarette is that muscle activity under the esophagus increases. The muscle around the lower respiratory tract will weaken slowly so that the digestive process becomes obstructed. The dangers of smoking for health can also be felt to the stomach because cigarette smoke that enters the digestive system will cause increased stomach acid. If this is allowed to continue, it's not impossible that it will become a more chronic disease such as a gastric ulcers, which are more difficult to treat. Of course, if you already know this risk, the awareness to stop smoking can be higher. The last one is risk of stroke. Active smokers can suffer from stroke attacks because the side effects of smoking can cause weakening of blood vessels. When this weakening occurs and the work of the blood vessels is hampered, it can cause an attack of inflammation in the brain. That is what can risk a stroke even though the person has no background of high blood pressure or other stroke-causing disease. The cause of the stroke comes from harmful chemicals such as nicotine, carbon monoxide, and oxidant gas contained in cigarettes. So that the dangers of smoking for health can cause strokes. Almost 504 occur in an active smoker compared to non-smokers. There are many other dangerous diseases caused by smoking, including the above that are most common today. Currently, there are many who normalize smoking in the campus area. Even though it is very disturbing to the surrounding people, many people do not like the smell of cigarette smoke because cigarettes give off an unpleasant smell. In my opinion, if these people want to smoke, it would be better if they stay away from campus area or go to place specifically for people smoking, so as not to disturb the campus and its surroundings. Okay, maybe just that from me for my opinion about smoking in campus area. So for the next one, I'm gonna tell you my presentation about the question words. Question words. Normally, all question words in English start with the same two letters, W and H. That's why questions with question words are also called WH questions. How to use it? We use the question words when we want to get specific or more information. They are different than yes or no question. We have the next question words. They are what, where, when, why, which, whose, who, and last is how. The first is what. We use what when we want to ask about things, animals, and action. The example is, what are you doing? I'm researching some amazing things. The second is where. We use where when we want to ask about place. The example, where are you from? I'm from Madrid. Wow, so far. The third is when. We use when we ask about time, occasion, or moment. The example is, when do you relax? Answer, at the weekend. Fourth is why. We use why when we want to ask about reason. The example, why are you late? Because I missed the bus. When we answer the question with why, we always begin with because. Next is which. We use which when we want to ask about choice or preferences. The example, which is your apple? The answer, the red one. Next is who. We use who when we want to ask about the people. The example is, who is that? That is my friend, Jonathan. The next one is whose. We use whose when we want to ask about ownership or possession. The example, whose are these keys? The answer, they are mine. The next one is how. We use how when we want to ask about the way in which something happens. The example, how are things at work? Boring, as usual. With how, there are a number of other expressions that are used in question. There are how old, how much, how many, how often, how far, and how long. Here I'm gonna tell you one by one. The first is how old. We use how old when we want to ask about age. The example, how old are you? The answer is 24. I'm 24 years old. The second is how much or many. We use how much or many when we want to ask about number, quantity, or price. The example, how much water do you drink? I drink only 1 glass. Next one is how often. We use how often when we want to ask about frequency. The example, how often does she study? The answer, she studies every day. Next is how far. We use how far when we want to ask about distance. The example, how far is it to Palembang? It's 548 kilometers to Palembang. Okay, the last one is how long. We use how long when we want to ask about duration or length. For the example, how long is the movie? The answer, the movie is 90 minutes long. Okay, that's all I can explain. Sorry if there are any shortcomings in my explanation. I'm Rihhadatul'Aisy. Take my leave. See you in the next